right, ready when you are, Doug.
Okay, we're still a little early, but why not? Welcome to the Wednesday, November 4th, 2020 Town of Henrietta Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. My name is Douglas Levy. I'm the chairman. We'll start tonight's meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance. If you could please rise.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just a reminder to silence your electronic devices, please, and then take note of the emergency exits. And we'll do roll call. Robert Peckham.
Here.
John Miglioroni.
Here.
Christian Chamberlain.
Here.
Beth Mossworth is absent. Heather Robinson.
Here.
Jesse Redlow.
Here.
Do I have a motion on the minutes of October 7th?
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve the minutes from our October 7th, 2020 meeting.
I'll second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Our first application tonight is 2020-116 by Haley and Patrick Deckow.
Heather, are they present?
They are, I think they're working on, oh, there they are.
Sorry about that. I'm Haley. This is Patrick.
How you doing?
Hello.
Aye.
Hello.
Okay.
Do you have anything to add to your application?
I don't believe so. It's staying the way we filled it out. We're just looking to replace our deteriorating concrete steps with a wooden structure with a platform and side steps as opposed to steps coming right out of the house.
Okay. Questions from the board?
Nope. This one feels pretty clear.
Questions, comments, concerns from members of the audience?
Not online.
Okay, this application is closed.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to application number 2020-116 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has, 1, duly advertised and held a public hearing, 2, has considered all relevant information, and 3, has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now therefore be it resolved that the Zoning Board of Appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties, as a porch structure will add visual appeal to the property. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative, as the applicant requires a porch instead of steps for safer entry into the home. The variance requested is not substantial. The variance will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions. The difficulty relating to the variance was not self-created, as weather-related factors caused damage to the existing steps. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the variance as presented.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Christian. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Welcome.
You.
Next application is 2020-117 by David Zuber.
He is online. David, can you hear us?
Yep, I can hear you.
Hello, Mr. Zuber. Could you give us a little bit of information about the shed that you're requesting and what you're intending to use it for?
Yeah, so basically I have, my snowblower, my lawnmower, and I have a classic car that spends most of the year in my garage. So I kind of am out of room, and I would like to be able to keep from having stuff in my yard and kind of not really looking that appealing. So a shed, and I figured a shed that size would keep me from needing to keep anything in the yard and keep things kind of looking nice and neat around my house. And it's going to be a pre-made shed, so it's not a hand built or anything like that. So it should look pretty nice.
Are you able to park the car in the shed?
I would, but I wouldn't be. Just
Okay. Will the shed have electric or plumbing or anything of that nature?
Nope.
And will it be directly up against the house as it's drawn in the picture?
It'll probably be about 5 feet away at most, somewhere in that range.
Okay. And that'll still give you approximately 20-ish feet on the side, correct?
That's correct.
I have no more questions.
Any other questions from members of the board? Questions, comments, concerns from members of the audience?
I don't see any.
All right, this application is closed.
With regards to application number 2020-117 for area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has duly advertised and held a public hearing, has considered all relevant information, and has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. The location and design of the shed fits nicely along the side of the house. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative. The space needs for this applicant necessitate this size. The variance requested is substantial. However, it is fitting along the side of the garage, so it will look like it is designed there. And the variance will not have a negative effect on the physical or environmental conditions. Again, it will be tucked in neatly against the side of the garage, create minimal change there. And the difficulty relating to the variance was self-created. This need was for storage after purchase of the house, but it is fitting in the property. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variance as presented.
Second.
Seconded by Jesse. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Next application is 2020-118 by Kyle Kelly.
Hello.
Are you there?
Kyle, are you there?
Yep. Hello.
There you
Can
go.
you hear me?
Any questions from the board?
Mr. Kelly, you're requesting 30-foot. What's the reasoning for that?
So currently my driveway is 20 foot, which only allows me to park 4 cars comfortably. Where if I have any guests over or anything, people end up parking on the street. If I ever want to buy a boat, it just kind of makes everything very tight. And I just think a 30-foot driveway would not make the neighborhood look bad. And yeah, that's pretty much it.
So, Mr. Kelly, will the 30-foot driveway meet your current and future needs?
Yes, absolutely.
Any other questions from members of the board? Questions, comments, concerns from members of the audience?
None that I see.
Okay, these applications are closed.
Mr. Chairman, with regards to applications 2020, 118, and 119 for an area variance, I move to approve. Whereas the zoning board has duly advertised and held public hearings, has considered all relevant information, and has considered the potential benefits to the application versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the characteristic of the neighborhood or detriment to the nearby properties. Applicant needs more parking for 4 cars. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative. The variance requested is not substantial. Is substantial. The variance will not have a negative effect to the physical or environmental condition It'll give him more parking so they don't have to park on the street. The difficulty related to the variance was self-created, and be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals makes the approval as presented.
I will second.
Seconded by Heather. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Next application is 2020-120 by Stephen and Jillian Harrington.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Questions from the board?
Hello. So it looks like, so you want to have the fence around your pool. And I guess you mentioned that you didn't want to have the normal 10-foot width because of the topography for your backyard?
Yeah, the elevation on the right and left side will change if I have to go out 10 feet, and in the rear it'll change. But also, as you mentioned, our lawn is pie shaped, so it's not able to fit. And I really don't want to fence in the whole backyard. I want to have a fence right around the pool just because I have young kids. So in order to make that work, we need it 5 feet on two sides and 6 feet on the other. And the front is 11.
To 11, okay.
Does that leave enough room for you to do the things that you're going to need and have the space for people to maneuver around, in your opinion?
Yeah, the concrete's already there, and there's a sidewalk, a 3-foot sidewalk on two sides, 11 feet at the front, and 6 feet on the left side of concrete. So it's a large area, actually.
Okay.
Other questions from members of the board? Questions, comments, concerns from members of the audience?
Nothing out here.
This application is closed.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to application number ZBA-2020-120 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has 1, duly advertised and held a public hearing, 2, has considered all relevant information, and 3, has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variances. Now therefore be resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variances will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties. Reducing the distance from the fence to the edge of the pool will increase the distance to neighboring properties, creating a greater gap between the fence and the property line. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative. Fence is required per town code for in-ground pools. The variance requested is not substantial. The applicant is actually requesting to build a smaller fence than what code stipulates. The variance will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions. Allowing a reduced distance from the water's edge to fence has no effect to physical or environmental conditions. And the difficulty relating to the variance was self-created. The applicant desires an in-ground pool, which created the need for a security fence. They also wish to have the fence to be level due to topography on the property. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variances, or so the variance as presented.
I'll second.
Seconded by John. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 All opposed? Motion carries. Next
Thank
application,
you.
2020-121 by Timothy Harrington.
Hello, good evening.
Evening.
Okay, so Mr. Harrington, you're looking to put up a 288 square foot shed. As I was reading in your application, you mentioned that you'll be taking down some brush and shrubs, and you said you're going to be replacing them. Are you going to be replacing them with other type of greenery?
Arborvitae, tall, skinny stuff instead of falling over 10-foot wide brush stuff that was unattractive. So it cleans it up and solves multiple problems.
Okay, great. I have no other questions.
Just a couple questions. What are the needs for the shed?
A couple things. I have a large lawnmower outside under a tarp. It's unsightly and it's not good for the lawnmower. I have a summer car that's also outside. The garage is full of woodworking tools and things. So this would get the tools out, the car in the garage. I also do woodworking in the basement, so there's dust. It's not particularly healthy for the family and I, so it solves all those problems.
Now, is this size shed gonna suit your needs?
It is. I've anticipated and imagined what we're gonna use it for, and there's a little extra for growth of more junk.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Are you gonna be running any electricity to the shed?
Yes, I want to have power for tools and for charging of batteries and lights. We had a break-in across the street a couple months ago. I want to illuminate our house, which is going to be kitty corner to where the shed is, pointed at the garage, which is just beneath our bedrooms, which is where the break-in was across the street in the garage. So
Okay.
power. Okay.
Any other questions from members of the board? Questions, comments, concerns from members of the audience?
Nothing here.
This application is closed.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to application number 2020-121 for an area variance, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has 1, duly advertised and held a public hearing, 2, has considered all relevant information, and 3, has considered the potential benefit to the applicant versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variance. Now therefore be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variance will not result in an undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties, as the shed is being designed to fit in with the yard and will allow the applicant to store fewer items on the lawn. The variance cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative, as the applicant's storage needs cannot be met by any smaller structure. The variance requested is not substantial. The variance will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions, as the applicant will plant new shrubs to replace the damaged ones. The difficulty relating to the variance was self-created, but it is understandable given the requirements of home maintenance. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the Zoning Board of Appeals hereby approves the variance as presented.
I'll second.
Second by Heather. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next applications are 2020-122 and 123 by Jason Patterson.
I believe he is online. I've got to check. Jason, are you the phone caller? Jason, is that
Yes, hi,
you?
good evening. Yep, good evening. How's everybody?
Oh, thank you.
Good, how are you? So Jason, you're looking to do a 480 square foot accessory structure. What is the purpose of the structure that you need?
Yeah, hi, good evening. Just so everybody's real quick, I know I have to listen to the workshop. I probably have some questions coming my way, so I am remote traveling. So if everybody, when they do get their turn to speak, can speak right into the microphone and probably help me out. Please and thank you. The purpose of the structure is simply for storage and a small workshop.
Okay. Now, is this size structure going to meet all of your needs?
Yes, this will be the last and final structure to go on the property.
Okay. Now, do you anticipate on running any electricity to the structure?
Not at the current time, and I don't anticipate it in the foreseeable future. That's part of the reason why I went with the design that I did, with the 2 dormers and the loft upstairs, making the one side cathedral, if you will, that will allow more daylight and natural light in there for me, so I can eliminate the need for electricity out there.
Okay. And what's you have an 8 by 20 open porch. What is the need for the porch?
Twofold, really, just to kind of make it more aesthetically pleasing. Put those dormers on top, put a little porch / shelter area on the front. We have a pool right there that's going to be in front of that porch area. Good place to sit on, watch the kids while they're swimming, and do some grilling, I guess, if you will, and just add to the aesthetics of the overall structure instead of just having 4 walls and a roof.
Now, you have a lot of other structures and buildings and pool in this backyard as well, correct? What other things do you have back?
Yeah, I mean, I guess in a word, it is a bit busy out there. We do have a pool, patio area, seating area that comes with a pool. There is a trampoline and play area for the kids. The shed that is there is completely dilapidated. The roof is caved in. It's got to go regardless. So while I'm doing it, I just figure I'm going to build something that is usable for the rest of my time here at my residence.
Is there any way that you can do this with a smaller structure? Because I think that the size of the person is substantial, and with some feedback from your neighbor, I don't know if this person is available right now or not, that is something that is not desirable to them as well.
Yeah, I understand. Square footage wise, what we're really only looking at is another 42 square feet from what you just approved to the previous application. They were 288 if I recall, and my actual usable storage space is 320. So it's not, I mean, it is substantial for my area. However, what we're trying to do here, I feel on a grander scale isn't that substantial. I know one of the neighbors may have been concerned about the projects that are all going on at the house with reason, but what I have there now, I guarantee you, is less aesthetic than what I'm looking to get. I also have a privacy fence all the way around the yard. So the visual aesthetics, if you will, to neighbors is actually very minimal.
Well, I think one of the things for me that I'm having troubles with that I'd like to understand more is, being that this structure that you're proposing is approximately 18 feet tall, in my opinion, it's a second story. And I mean, that's what it looks like too on your drawings. They're over 9 foot on each story. That is a little different than the structure you have there today. I would say quite a bit different. So I guess to me, I think the height is the bigger issue than the footprint.
Right. The height just gives me a little bit more usability of the structure. Again, it's only a portion of the upstairs that is going to be used for storage only. The extra height comes in, obviously, with the second story, but also for the dormers, using of the dormers to get that natural light in there so I don't have to get electricity. I don't think there's requirements for height on accessory structure, is there? Or a limitation on it? I think the structure here is under 20.
It's just a factor that we weigh in when we're approving or declining variances.
Sure, understood. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't needing another variance for height. I didn't. I tried to do some homework, but what I figured here was definitely suitable for me and aesthetically pleasing for the neighborhood. One of your members there, Jesse, I believe, did come out, and I had an opportunity to meet with him. He did look at the overall layout, so maybe he can jump in here and help me out with some of the visuals if anybody has questions on that, because he did come out and say that what I was trying to do did not seem horrific, I guess, if you will.
Yeah, he mentioned that in our workshop earlier too. Again, that is Jesse's opinion on this. And I guess the other question that I have for you is that the offset is the secondary application that you have. So how much different is the offset from the rear fence with the existing shed that is having troubles? That's the words I'm using for what you indicated. How much difference is that from the current shed to the new shed?
1 foot.
Okay. Thank you.
Now, just a curious question. Have you had a chance to maybe look at other options besides having the porch on it? Because that does add another 160 square feet to the footprint.
Yeah, obviously the one alternative to that would be just not to have it on there, I assume. But then that changes the whole structure. Again, that's 160, is that what you said, 160 extra square feet for the porch? Really is not for storage. It's just simply for seating, chairs, seats. An alternative entrance also into the shed, if you will, with a man door up there instead of the side larger door. Just another access point. So that just kind of, I don't know, more aesthetics really there. I guess be able to get out of the weather if you're caught out there at the pool, get under that too, type of thing. Watch kids sit there, like I said.
Heather, would you be willing to condition the approval with that space could never be enclosed?
Okay.
Any other questions for members of the board? Questions, comments, concerns from members of the audience?
I don't see any.
We noted the comments from the other gentleman, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
Are there anything?
Nothing.
Okay, these applications are closed. Do you want for discussion?
I'm not voting for it, but if we're,
I'm fine with Jim, good. I'm fine with it.
Mr. Chairman, with regard to application numbers ZBA 2020, 122, and 123 for an area of variances, I move to approve as follows. Whereas the zoning board has duly advertised and held a public hearing, has considered all relevant information, and has considered the potential benefit to the application versus the potential detriment to the neighborhood or community in relation to such variances. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the zoning board of appeals makes the following findings of fact. The variances will not result in undesirable change to the character of the neighborhood or a detriment to nearby properties, as the accessory structure will be located at the back of the lot and will be aesthetically pleasing. The property does have a privacy fence, making it difficult to be seen from the road. The variances cannot be achieved by some other feasible alternative, as the property has an existing side which is not meeting the applicant's needs. The variances requested is substantial. However, the property backs up to a park. The variances will not have a negative effect on physical or environmental conditions. The difficulty relating to the variances was self-created. However, the variances will meet the applicant's needs, and the placement of the accessory structure is best suited for the property. And be it further resolved that based upon the above findings, the zoning board of appeals hereby approve the variances as presented. And be it further resolved that this approval shall be subject to the following conditions. The 8x20 open porch should never be enclosed.
Second.
Second by Jesse. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Our last application tonight is 2020-124 by Mike Cossack.
How you doing, sir?
Good,
How you doing, guys? I'm sorry.
Hello.
Hello.
Can you explain the necessity for such a large structure?
It's storage. I'm speaking in the help of my father-in-law because of the language barrier.
Okay.
He has a van, he's a pickup truck, he's a trailer, self-employed guy, works one guy, one company, so he needs room to store all the equipment that he has.
Is The design of the structure has 2 rooms with a passageway in between. What's the passageway for?
That's not gonna be, that's gonna change. It's gonna be just one building with 2 garage doors. We have to change the structure on it.
Okay, same size though?
It's gonna be 40 by 30, 1,200 square feet. It's gonna be 2 garage doors, and, regular door come in, 10 foot tall.
Okay.
And I know you said that he's self-employed and it's for all of his stuff.
Yes.
Like what kind of equipment it's going to be in?
He has a pickup truck, he has a trailer, he has a van, he has a tractor, lawnmower, private and business stuff is gonna be pretty much in it, quite a bit of stuff.
Okay. Now you have it kind of set back a little bit, back from the house. Have you guys looked at other different placements of the structure?
Really, there's no other place. If you go on the side, it's gonna be visible. If you go to the left of the house, it's gonna be very visible to the street. Right now, behind, where is it gonna be? You're not gonna see much of the street either. Because of the elevation, the house, it's higher and then dumps in down. It's gonna be just in front of the leach field that he has.
Oh, okay.
It's gonna be like in the back of the house, he has a big leach field. They cannot build anything in front of it, on it. It's a septic system and.
A leach field, okay. The existing structure that's there and there's a fence that's around that structure currently?
Yes.
How large is that section right there for reference for us?
That's 150 square feet building. Oh,
And how wide is that fence that's behind that building towards the neighbor's yard?
Kolika ti ona ograda iza šeda, što je sad? A? Koliko je duga? I koliko je visoka? 20 feet by 8. 20 feet long by 8 foot tall.
So this is going to be 10 feet wider than that fence that's there right now?
Yeah, it's gonna be to the side of it, yes.
Closer to the neighbor's driveway? or-
Yes, closer to the neighbor's driveway, that's correct.
20 by, and the facility that you're requesting is 22 by 30?
No, it's gonna be 40 by 30. We
40
did
by-
those joints 3 years ago and we never applied for it because of the time and the money.
So 40 by 30.
Yes, sir.
That's what we have here.
That's what's on here.
Yeah.
Where?
Right on the draw.
Oh, on the
I
drawing.
changed that.
Because I was looking at this, it's 22 by 30.
Yes.
Is there a second floor to this building?
No.
No.
Power?
Excuse me?
Power?
Yes, just the lights, we need it for the garage opener and some outlets, that's it. No plumbing.
So he's really putting his business in there.
Yes, and no business and private.
Does that qualify as a commercial structure then?
What type of business is it?
He's self-employed, remodeling, flooring.
So he's not doing any work there, he's just storing his
No,
equipment?
just storing stuff, yeah. No, he's not doing no
Just
work.
Personal storage is what it would be.
That's okay.
Yeah.
No, it's not gonna be no work done there.
He's not milling the flooring there.
No. He does flooring like hardwood floors, tiles,
Okay.
block work, remodeling for the people, whatever somebody needs,
that would not-
handyman pretty much.
Not constitute an in-home occupation at all.
Okay.
Other comments, questions from the board?
Is this going to meet all your needs after this, going forward?
That would be all the needs that we need of. Nothing else will be added.
Okay.
In relation to the map, where is the cobblestone shed within where they're proposing it, or is it?
Yeah.
It's gonna be just off the side of the cobblestone shed.
Are you keeping the cobblestone shed? Okay, that's a secondary one
Did
too.
he say yes? I didn't.
He said
Yeah.
yes.
I mean, if,
We weren't aware, looking at the survey map that was dropped off, there was no
There's no indication of
There's
a
no indication
second.
of a second
Yeah.
shed. It's all-
Oh, okay.
A second shed is another variance.
Okay,
And it's on top of, it's compounded for space on the
So the square
the
footage,
square footage is increased by that.
that structure is staying?
hoće ostati ona shed, zašto imaš? Huh? Yes.
Okay. When the application was brought in, we were not aware that that
Oh, okay.
structure was there. So we have two issues now. You have two, well, you're allowed two accessory structures,
Okay.
but we have to,
We thought that
the square footage has to be, is compounded. So you're going to have to table this for
Yep.
Yep.
further discussion. We can't, you guys won't be able to vote on it tonight.
Okay. But if you look at it back, all the neighbors have huge barns. Everybody around there has at least one barn, almost every house. Huge. So I'm just saying.
Is the neighborhood around there all zoned similar to your knowledge?
Yeah, I don't know for certain, but it's
I mean, it's very
rural-
agricultural.
yes, probably rural residential out there.
It's kind of spread residential. He doesn't even have a public water, he's a well.
Yeah, he's.
He doesn't have a water or sewer or gas there. So it's more than farmland than anything else.
Yeah, I think it is more farmland.
It is, but the other folks who have barns in that area don't have other homes behind them either.
Yeah,
So
that's
that
very
makes this a
true.
more unique situation.
That's correct. That's correct. But they have a barns in front of their homes.
Mhm. Yeah.
I mean, I'm not complaining about it. I was like,
No, I get where you're coming
we
from.
are not, sorry.
Yes. Well, either way, we leave it to you, Doug. I'm sorry.
Well, is there any other questions from the members of the board? Questions, comments, concerns from members of the audience?
I don't have any. Oh, wait. Oh, hold on. I have a Jane that has her hand raised. 1 second. Go ahead, Jane.
All right.
Go ahead, Al.
Hi, Al Gatoka at 490. My major concern would be resale. With a building of this size, this close to the road, that would be my major concern. And I'm not aware of any other places except the house across the street who has an old barn. But that's the only big barn. I happen to have a barn where I do workshop stuff. But that's my total concern. And I'm surprised that the people who live in the back are not here to voice their opinion as well. But to have a structure that large, I think would affect everybody's, and everything is the same as far as residential, farm residential. I don't know. That's all I have to say. But it concerns me.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Want to address that comment?
Yeah, there's right behind my farmable house, there's a huge red barn, right behind it. On the other side of the neighbors, nobody was there, nobody complained about it. It's huge. It's way bigger than he's building right now. And the guy used it for whatever he used, so I don't know. So that's the only comment I have.
All right, this application is tabled till next month.
Mr. Chairman, I do have one question for the applicant. Are you planning on putting a driveway to the structure?
Yeah, in the future, yes.
Okay, so is that going to happen soon, or you said in the future?
In the future, we want to build it first and then we see
Okay.
how's a bit of money and economy is going to be.
Okay, I just want to take a look at the layout of that driveway
Okay,
beforehand to see if there's another variance at possibility.
all right,
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Okay, so you'll have to see staff to get the other applications in.
Excuse me?
You'll have to see staff between now and when's the deadline? Is it already passed?
I would need to get the stuff in within the next 2 weeks.
2 weeks. So you'll have to talk to the town again within the next 2 weeks, because what you have told us today means that there's additional an additional variance required.
Okay.
And because of that, we cannot vote on this today. You will have to come back next month with
Okay.
that additional variance, and also the potential for some other conversations that this probably created. So
So I just got show up, or do I have to bring some kind of drawings so you guys see what you guys want us to bring? Should we talk to the neighbors in the back and see if they have a complaint about it?
that part's up to you, but with regards to the drawings, yes, I think we need to see the drawings, because this drawing that you supplied to us for our review
Okay.
has no indication that there's going to be a secondary structure
Okay.
there that you've just informed us of. And so there's some other things that need to be dealt with. So that is something you'll have to talk to.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank
so
you.
Meeting adjourned at 7:40.